This instrument is called a Chalumeau. This is the early precursor to what would later become the modern day clarinet. It's made in wood. I've got here two of my Chalumeau, and it does look like a recorder. It's got several holes at the front and a hole at the back where the thumb covers or occasionally doesn't cover according to the note you want to make when you're playing it. These have a modern B-flat clarinet head fitted to the top. Traditionally they would have a piece of twine or cord or leather tying on to the mouthpiece at the top. One to my right is made in sycamore maple, and the one here in my left hand is in olive wood, with its fine striation in the grain of the wood itself. Basically they're very simple to look at. It's just a wooden tube. You can see it's hollow inside, and then the various finger holes there. These have the half holes for the sharps, like E flat or D sharp and C sharp. Lower down, they both have that. This one is more recessed, which helps your finger rest in. So those are Chalumeaus. Those are my two, each in a different wood. A closer view of the sycamore maple Chalumeau. And then here's the bit of a closer view to the olive wood, with its handsome grain all the way and even at the back. It's a beautiful grain. It has a very slight scent when you've used it, a very, 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 very slight scent about the wood, which the sycamore maple is just a plain wooden scent to it when it's used. The playing of the Chalumeau is very different to what people might think who've never played this sort of instrument before, because it is not like playing a recorder, as you might think looking at it looks like a wooden recorder, and it's the size of generally of a wooden recorder as well, in its feel on the fingers. It requires a lot more effort, and you'll notice at the back of the mouthpiece, on both of them, there's a reed there on the ligature. This is a cane reed, and that fits in behind the clarinet mouthpiece, and the ligature tightens around it to keep it in place. But it does take a lot of effort to play these, more than you would think, and the sound is very unusual. So one additional thing worth mentioning about the Chalumeau here is the way you put the teeth over the top of the mouthpiece. You do the sort of slightly snarling appearance. The teeth go over the top and the tongue beneath. You're not biting onto it, you're just resting onto the teeth and the tongue underneath. Whereas with a recorder it would just be the soft parts of the mouth. So teeth go like that, lip goes over, lip over. So that's how it's an unusual way it's played compared to a recorder. So you dampen the reed with your tongue, like a recorder in, cover all the holes over. And there's the lowest note. All the fingers are covering, thumb at the back, and that's the middle C. You can waver it with your mouth to make a different sense of tone. Loud and quiet. So that's with all the holes covered. The highest note is D, and you do that by not covering any holes, or I just keep one finger rested on one note so it's ready to play the notes later on, or the holes, should I say. And it's the same with both of them. They're both the same range, a small range of one chromatic octave plus an extra D at the top. Now most people find the range very limiting because there's not that much written beyond with its octave chromatic range plus the extra little note. You can get a higher note, the D sharp, E flat of discovery, but you really have to strain your mouth, so I try not to do that. But later on, someone else developed keys on these instruments, and hence the clarinet gradually developed from there, and then the range went up a lot more. But this is still within its very basic, simple range, so you have to rely upon your own developing skill to make something of it. Despite the simple range of the Chalumeau, in the keyless kind as it's called here, with the process of transposition or copying and looking through various directories and catalogues and encyclopedias and various sources, you can, with transposition and taking things to a key within its range, you can extend the range greatly. And various sources work. We've got medieval pieces, we've got pieces from Turks called by Michael Pretorius, huge set of tunes from the early periods in music history, Baroque pieces, various others, and some work very well and some work surprisingly well. One or two have to be altered a great deal, but overall I've got here a wad of probably over 200 transpositions, all work within the range of the Chalumeau that I'm using, the Chalumeau in C major or C, in its one octave range, and I keep adding all the time. This huge document with transposition have extended its range tenfold beyond what many might find usable in printed books. There's minuets there by Handel, various things from Baroque period, and a few of my own I've added later. So the next thing is to play a couple of short pieces so you can hear them from my book itself. Here in my collection, I'm playing the Olivewood Chalumeau, a march from circa 1715, which I'll read from my collection here, which works very nicely. And you listen to the tone it produces. Music played on the sycamore maple Chalumeau. I Corant from Terpsichore by Michael Pretorius. A tune called Linden Lee, played on the Olivewood Chalumeau. So, whichever Chalumeau you have, whatever wood, the keyless kind, you may have noticed that you can slur the notes smoothly from one to the other. Because your fingers are in direct contact with those holes, you can slur from one note to the other very easily. Such as that, without the need for any pistons or levers that other instruments have. And again, the half holes give you the sharp. Middle C, C sharp, D, D sharp. It's just by slightly raising the finger from those lower two half hole holes on the Chalumeau that you get the half tone or semitone, not by doing too much else, just slightly raising the finger. Other sharps are got in different ways by switching the fingers. F sharp, F natural, G natural, G sharp, B, B flat. Some of the fingering can be quite tricky because you're switching fingers in what seems a very illogical way, which is depending on your fingers on the holes themselves. But when tunes fit within straightforward fingering, it's very, very satisfying to play. So that's the basics of how they work, and they both do the same thing. This one, Sycamore Maple, has less of a recess for the sharps. Just lift the fingers slightly to clear one of the holes to let the air through in a different way for that. So those are Chalumeau, and that's how they work. They look very simple. By using transposition and to different keys, you can extend the range greatly.